By the end of this video, you'll have the ground shadow shader set up on your avatar. First off, import the Unity package by dragging it into your project folder here. Next, activate your license by putting in a license key. You can choose either Gumroad or Lemon Squeezy, depending on where you bought the ground shader from. Now we can go ahead and add the ground shadow to our avatar. Let's first find the root object of our avatar. Right-click on it, find Value Factory, Ground Shadow 1, and add Ground Shadow. If you don't see this, that means you likely have compilation errors in your project, in which case those will need to be fixed before you can proceed. Let's click on Add Ground Shadow. If you're using VRC SDK 3.10.3 or above, you'll have the ability to use the raycast version. The raycast version will be able to stick to the ground a lot more accurately as opposed to the basic version. If you can, I recommend upgrading your VRC SDK to be able to use the raycast version. I'm going to want to use the raycast version here, so I'll click on yes. Now you're going to want to choose a location in which to save the material that we just created. I'm going to choose my avatar folder here, view, and save. It's going to tell us that the shadow and material have been created, and now it's time to customize it. Click on OK. A preset list will appear, and we'll see the ground shadow on our avatar. We can go ahead and choose any of these presets here and apply them to this ground shader. So go ahead and look through all of them, see which one you like. Some of them require AudioLink, and at this point in time, it's safe to go into play mode to be able to preview AudioLink. However, if you have VRCFury, please be aware that once you enter play mode, VRCFury will make a copy of your avatar, including the shader and the material. So any changes to that material in play mode will not be saved. To work around that, go into Tools, VRCFury, Settings, and uncheck Enable VRCFury in play mode. Yes, do not run VRCFury in play mode. You can go ahead and re-enable VRCFury to run in play mode later on. I'm going to enter into play mode to take a look at some of the AudioLink effects. If your avatar scrunkles up like this, that's because you have an animation controller in the animator of your avatar. So before you go into play mode, click on your avatar and remove the controller here. Now we can go into play mode, start looking through some of the presets. Once you've found something you like, click on Apply Selected Preset. If you'd like to go back at any point and change the preset or modify your material, you can go ahead and navigate to the folder in which you save the material, or click on the avatar and expand the preset until you find ground shadow, and then you have your material here. You can browse for presets to apply new presets, or just customize the material to your own liking. All these features are documented. You can go ahead and right-click on them to view documentation, which will open the documentation page. So I like how this looks. I'm going to exit out of play mode, and I'm going to adjust the size of this. What I recommend people do is scale it down so that the shadow encapsulates your own personal space and doesn't invade on the space of others. And usually, having it be a little bit wider than your hips or your shoulders is a good idea. So in this case, I'm going to scale it down a little bit. I'm going to set the center to be pivot, and then scale down on this root object here. I think it's a little bit too small. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. I think something like that is going to work for me here. Something too crazy, it adds a little bit of something to the avatar, and doesn't invade others' personal space. At this point, you can go ahead and upload your avatar as a test and try it out in game. You might need to adjust the height of the ground shadow in case it clips through the floor or it's not visible through some kind of floor object. In which case, for the raycast option, you're going to want to select the ground shadow object here and then adjust the height of it as shown here. If you're running into other issues, we might have some of them covered in our common issues tab here in the documentation. If there's something that's not covered in this documentation, please visit our Discord server and make a thread, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You can also use this shader as a headband, armband, earband, just like as bands around parts of your avatar. And we have a separate tutorial for that available in the description. Yeah, now that all that's left to do is upload and try it out in game. Here we are in game, with the ground shadow applied to my avatar, and I think it's looking fine. I'm going to run around a little bit and see if everything looks good to me, seeing if it clips in any weird ways or anything like that. Of course, it's not going to apply onto the couch here because the couch doesn't have a collider, but this looks good to me. And if it's clipping through objects for you, you can go ahead and raise it a little bit, as mentioned before. Yeah, that's about it. Have fun.